Okay, we are back. So if you were watching us, I apologize. I didn't have my do not disturb on my phone, and unfortunately somebody called me and all of a sudden I had no microphone. It totally turned it off and I couldn't turn it back on. So note to self, won't do that again. There's been it's been a complete day of things that if something can go wrong, it will. And yet I totally understand that we are being guided and it's all perfect. So I am waiting for Carolyn to come back on. This might be her. It is. I'm going to send you an invite and we will actually start over completely, Carolyn, because I just apologize. Yeah. Hello, hello, hello.
Hi again.
So Carolyn, we're going to start completely
Okay.
over. I apologize, but let's get something that just feels congruent here.
Sure.
So first and foremost, as I said before, is that I just want to honor and celebrate you for always being that person that just is ready to lift your hand up and say, how can I help? I'm with you. You know, you're that person that's that ideal client. They're like, how can I help? I'm here to collaborate. I'm here to support you. I'm here to learn from you. There's just a level of expansion in your heart always. And so I want to say thank you for being part of this.
Welcome. It's been so fun over the years to really get to know you better and to follow your energy, bring my specific energy into what we are co-creating. It's been beautiful.
And the more that I get to really fine tune who I collaborate with and who I do co-creations with, the better it gets. Like it's
Hmm.
magnetic and the momentum is just like poof, because I really feel that we're being led to do this. I really honestly believe. I know that this Be Extraordinary Women's Network wouldn't have happened if I wasn't listening to my intuition. But I also was knew that it wasn't just about
Right.
me, that it was about something bigger. And so this all coming together has just been, yeah, I smile ear to ear as I just think about all the miracles that have happened in order for this to happen. So Carolyn, how I would love for you just to share a little bit about where you're calling in from, where are you actually from, and then what is it that you do?
So I live in Asheville, North Carolina. I moved here about 4 years ago during the pandemic. It is my heart home. It has the land, the energy of everything called me here, and it's beautiful. That's a total trust in moving in a crazy time like that. We just got water back, potable water back 2 or 3 days ago. I've kind of lost track now, but again, that's another thing of stepping into trust and really believing that everything um, is in your highest good. And that's a big piece of what I do. I call my work sacred haven living. It is using life's experiences to help you heal, to help you step into your power, to help you be more visible, to help to give that hand out to people who really need you, whether it is a friend, a partner, a co-creator, a client, or just supporting somebody else in growing their own business. There's so many different ways to do partnership. And that's what Sacred Haven Living is all about. It's finding, the energy of a plant that can support you. It's finding the energy of light, which I have behind me, the power of writing, crystals, angels, everything around you has a benefit and has a power to it.
Wow. Okay, now I love where this conversation is going. And I can hear people are like, what? What are we talking about? So was there a time, Carolyn, that you were like, oh no, like we need to logically figure out what tools and skill sets we need versus where you are now? Can you take us down that journey?
Absolutely. So if we go in the Wayback Machine, I am highly logical and analytical. I am a math and science geek. I am a puzzle geek, figuring it out, mechanical, etc. I went to college and got an engineering management degree. I worked 25 years in corporate doing engineering, logistics, materials management, manufacturing, and I was really good at it, but I hated it. It didn't bring me joy. I
Okay.
wanted to build relationships. That's very competitive.
Yeah, and I want to go down this path because often we think that we need to do the thing we're good at. And that kind of is almost a trap of a people
Mm,
pleaser. It's like, well, I either do what my parents told me to do, or family does these specific things, or I do what I logically think would make a good living.
yeah.
But if we aren't fulfilled and really loving life, like joy is the answer. If we're not doing that, then we're just kind of going through the motions. And I believe that more and more people right now are recognizing, oh my goodness, I've been going through the motions for years. And so this is an opportunity for us to look and go, wow, do I have joy in my life? And so what was that pivotal moment that took you from that to, wow, I know something has to change here?
Wow, there were so many with me. You know, one of the big ones was um, my divorce. You know, I married somebody that I loved him. We had a lot of fun together. We created a beautiful family, but our energies, we didn't match. We didn't support each other. We didn't help each other grow. We actually, I kind of call it that perfect storm of I I did his insecurities and he did mine. So when I finally realized that we're not going to be able to help each other grow, and I'm not a good example for my kids, and it actually happened the weekend that Princess Diana died. I know, right? I saw that and I'm like, she was just starting to be her. And then I said, who am I? I couldn't answer that question.
Wow. Okay. So total body chills because I'm not sure if me and you are the only people, but is there anybody else that when Princess Diana died that you just went, this is pivotal? Like I didn't even know the
Right.
woman, and yet it was a pivotal point in my life that I'll never forget. And my body is just vibrating right now.
Mm-hmm.
That I believe that there's certain people on earth that are true way showers to wake us up to
Mm-hmm.
not only what is possible, but where are we just kind of unconsciously just going through life?
Just going through the motions. And that's what I was. And I started to remember who I was. And then it was, I probably about 10 years after that, I lost my high tech job. I had gone through a number of layoffs, venture capital funding, all that other stuff. And I remember thinking, I'm done with people making bad choices for me. I'm going to start my own, right? I'm starting my own business. And then if it fails, I have no one to blame but me. And that scared me deeply. I was a single parent with, I mean, I had child support and I'm so grateful for that, but it wasn't enough to pay my mortgage. And I had to do something. I had to step out into what makes me happy. And being of service made me happy. Being intuitive made me happy. Being an animal communicator made me happy. Being with animals made me happy. Growing my garden made me happy. And I really, really owned that.
Mm.
And it was hard because I was stepping into a weird space that I was living in Massachusetts at the time. And, they have a history of burning witches. You don't go out and tell the people that you can talk to animals. But I did
Oh
it.
my.
Right? I mean, there's that energy in that part of the country. And I had to be so confident or do it anyway because it wasn't always confidence, Debbie. Sometimes it was just like, I'm going to go back to dying inside if I don't show the world who I am.
Wow. Okay. So this is really great because you're painting a picture of like once you became aware, you just couldn't go back, even
Couldn't.
when it was feeling like this is safe to peek out. So you are part of the co-creation team that's building this visibility challenge. And with this challenge, what we're building is number one, awareness, and then support of how can we help people be more visible. Because number one, I recognize that in my clients, in the work that I do in helping coaches step into their own light and their message and everything, is that most of them have an amazing message and they know who their audience is and they know why they do it, and they still can't make themselves do it. And so energetically, as a healer, I recognize that we can often get in our own way just from the subconscious, and there's all sorts of that. But can you talk to me on your version of what it felt like and what you recognized was needed in order for you to be more visible to yourself first, and then of course to your clients so they could pay you?
Yeah, it's first of all, it's a lot of healing work. I mean, seriously, it's that self development, working with a coach, working with a mentor, working with co people who, you can really trust to get into that point of, okay, this scares me really, really deeply, but I'm going to do it anyway. And, I remember the first time I talked about talking with angels to my family, they're all like, do we need to have her committed? and then, and then I'm like, do you remember my grandfather? It's on my mother's side. I said, he talked about his prophetic dreams. And that it happened. I said, so you always used to ask grandpa questions about all of this stuff and ask for details. So why is this so different? And everybody's jaw dropped and they're like, who's living in your body? Who's saying these things? That makes sense, actually. And then I'd start getting messages because I'm like, this is who I am. And it's okay if you aren't comfortable with me. We don't need to talk about this, but I'm going to talk about this. And I remember showing up at my kids' games because my kids were really little when I went through the divorce and when I really started stepping out into who I really am. And, people would sometimes make comments or questions, and they're like, well, who are you? And I just say, well, I'm a whole lot of people. Who would you like to talk to today? It's like, do you want me to talk to your animals? Do you want me to dog walk your animals? Because I also own a dog walking business. Do you want me to connect to your deceased grandmother? What do you need? And by being lighthearted around it and not taking it personal, although I will admit there's a lot of times I cried at night because people were mean, but I just had to keep showing up for me and for the people who needed me.
Mm.
And that's what kept me going.
Showing up for you and the people that needed you. Because if somebody like you with these extraordinary gifts, which they are a gift from heaven, if you kept them hidden,
Yeah.
how many people are also keeping all of their problems hidden that they knew you were the answer to, but they're like, I can't even speak about my problems because if I do speak about it, they're going to say there's no such thing as somebody that can help with that. Let's put you in a loony bin. So I love how far we've gone, and I love that we can go back to your analytical brain and all of the other stuff because now we have science behind all this. And so I'm going to just give you, I feel like there's another something that you want to share on that. I give you an opportunity to speak on something else, and then I want to zip off to another direction.
Sure. I think one of the most brave things I did, which really showed everyone, clients, family, friends, etc., was starting to write, putting my words in writing. Most of us healers, we've got a past life, if you believe in that, where writing things down or speaking your truth probably caused pain to you and your family and your loved ones. So for me, breaking the pattern was starting to write, putting my words out and publicizing them. So it wasn't just me in my journal. It was me being an Amazon best-selling author and then leading a book and stepping into writing and blogging and speaking and lives and all of that stuff. And yeah, it's scary, but it's life altering. And I can't do it every day. I don't have that energy of I do that, but I do it and I show up and I invite other people to do the same thing. If you do it every other week, yay for you. If it's once a month and it works for you, good for you. If it's daily, oh my God, you're a superstar and I love you.
But the key there is that there's no comparison. Like,
No.
your message is your message, your way is your
Yeah.
way, and if it aligns to your heart and soul and you're listening to your intuition, it's perfect. So
Mhm.
anybody that's looking at, me or somebody else as the example of, like, I need to do what Debbie's doing, please let yourself off the hook. That is not where you're being guided. You're being guided to your specific thing.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Yeah.
One of the other things that I wanted to take you through, and congratulations on being a best-selling author several
Thank you.
times, and for leading your own collaborative book, because within that collaborative book, you had to reach out to other people and say, I want to hear your story. I want it to be part of our collection where we can empower more people. So that was a leap of faith as well. And I think
Mhm.
that what I recognize in you right from day one is that you are such a heart-centered leader. You have your own sense of stability and who I am and grounded, and really speak your truth, but you're always nurturing and gathering people into your atmosphere. And I just think that's such a beautiful thing.
Thank you.
The other thing that I want to zip over to is you quickly said, and I'm a dog walker too, because I have that business. And I mean, really, guys, if you are a pet owner and you absolutely love what your pet, which most people do, and you're going to hire somebody to walk your dog, would you want them to be able to communicate with your dog? I think that that's a really unique aspect of who you are and what you do.
Yeah, and I actually had the pleasure of um, expanding my skills with my clients. Now, my business is 18 and a half years old. So in the very beginning, it was like, so your cat's not using the litter box. I think I can help you. And they're like, okay. I said, well, you got to keep an open mind here, but I can see what your cat's seeing if you're open to listening to what I have to say. And, most of them are like skeptical, but curious. So, it was often something like the cover was falling off. They hated the way the litter felt. There, XYZ. It was all these weird things. And I get these little videos in my mind, and I was able to tell the clients, and it became this engineer. I would state a problem, find the answer, get the verification. And it was beautiful because it gave me confidence and it helped my clients at the same time. They'd come back and they'd say, "Oh, there's a crack on the side of that. I had no idea." Or, "Oh, yeah, I just changed out the mat in front of the box and all of a sudden life is so good." Or, whatever it was. And it, it takes courage because that was my income. And to be looked at as weird or something else and potentially lose standard clients was really scary.
Wow. So what you've just tapped into here is that we're always asking people, like, what do you believe and what's your why and who's your audience? And then we can stay in that safety zone, right? Well, I got a lot of
Mhm.
clients in there. I'm successful and things are good. But if your heart's whispering for you, or a new sense or ability comes in, or even a new belief that pops up and you're like, I really, really believe this to be true to my core, that's asking you to niche down. And so for me, when I think about this thing that came forward, it's like, oh, what a niche to actually have clients that love your ability to tap into the extra things. Now, I believe myself that if we're hearing something or seeing something with our mind's eye that no one else can see or hear, that is a gift. And if we ignore that, it's not only going to hurt inside our own body, but
Mm-hmm.
it's actually hurting those we are meant to support and serve through those gifts.
Yes, absolutely. And it's the same as if you're with animals, when you're with people, if you've got a gift and you can, help somebody support themselves, lift them up, then, be brave, be visible, hand out that hand, whether you're doing it as a partner or, as a client. There's so many beautiful ways to connect and to support people, and there's no such thing as competition. That's a real big one for me, and I know it is for you too, Debbie. And I think, but it's worth mentioning. There's no such thing as competition. There is more than enough for everybody. And the more we support each other, the more we gift time, talent, support in any way, shape, or form, the more beautiful this world is going to be.
I absolutely believe it as well. And I think that I want to bring up the aspect that you, number one, you are a podcast host, but you're also a TV
Yeah.
host, and you've just been on TV with Sherry, I believe,
Yeah.
as well. Do you want to talk about what next level dedication and decision making had to come into doing that type of thing? Because I mean, you already talked about leveling up when you became an author, because telling your story is a stretch and it's a growth opportunity. What happened when you decided to actually do these other things as well?
Boy, that is a whole nother layer of visibility, Debbie. I mean, like, I lived behind the keyboard for a long period of time. I have been in, I don't know, like 18 different books. Those are all that, and there's a whole other bookcase behind me. Books that I have been in. So I have done, 365 Days of Angels and some other really amazing collaboratives. But doesn't show my face except for in the biography in the back of the book. It's like I'm not having to think on the fly. I'm not having to answer questions. I'm not having to, or when I'm a podcast or a TV host, I'm asking the questions and, bringing people into the right energy, and also sometimes managing the energy,
Mm-hmm.
because, sometimes people go places you don't want them to go, that's unhealthy for the
Yep.
audience. So yeah,
Yep.
you really do have, you have to manage that. And I, I was given an invitation, I don't even remember how many years ago it was now, to be a co-host on a show for the cable TV, local cable TV, that was about angels and opportunities. And it wasn't like Archangel, Michael is the guardian angel of whatever. It was just, utilizing and really tapping into something that's bigger than us, that can help guide us and protect us and give us really good information. And the first time I did that, I mean, it's a TV station and they got the lights and you get the little mug, and you're sitting there and they're checking you to make sure that you look good on camera.
Yep.
And I'm sitting there with my legs crossed because I'm so nervous that I'm good in the state, right? I'm so nervous, so nervous. And the feedback I got afterwards was amazing. So doing once, like, oh, I got this. I can do it again. And that's one of the things that I really invite everybody to think about, who's listening or may watch it later, is do it once.
Mm.
If it fits, then do it again. If it doesn't fit, then you tried. Yay, you were brave. You tried it. And for me, I went on, and the person I was co-hosting with left, and I did the show for like 3 years. I won 2 Emmy, I think they were called Emmy Awards, for cable TV shows for the spiritual category with that show. And it was, And that's my neighborhood. That's where, these were people who were watching, who were my clients in the pet business, whose kids went to school with my kids. And I got to the point where I'm like, well, you know what? They'll get over it. Over it.
Wow. I love that you said be brave. It really does take that next level of courage. And yet, that courage doesn't have to come from, I just need to find my courage. Usually, the courage comes from this inner knowing and this
Yeah.
realignment with who you are and what your message is. And as you said earlier, if we stuff that down or try to be somebody we're not, it just doesn't feel right. And eventually, you kind of just have to break out of that cocoon, right?
Yeah, you have to, or you start to slowly die.
Mm.
And that's who I was way back. I had followed what my parents wanted me to do. I had gotten into, a marriage where I was following my ex-husband's energy. And it's nothing on him. I made the choices, but I wasn't being me. I wasn't really standing for me. And then the same thing working in corporate all those years. I was good, but it wasn't bringing me joy. I wasn't following who I am, and breaking out of that. Yeah, it's scary, but it's also really joyful.
Yeah. Really empowering. And I know that you
Hmm.
very much empower others now, always, because you are such an amazing listener. And with your extra skills of how you can listen, of course, you're listening to both their deepest desires and their fears and what they're speaking out loud. But tell us a little bit how you actually do support. And do you have any courses or programs or one on ones? How do you support your clients?
So right now, I am doing one-on-ones, and that's the core of everything. I have a number of recorded classes through the Wellness Universe. That's how I met you, was, being a senior partner through the Wellness Universe. Right now, I'm doing one-on-ones. It's the best for my energy. I had what I call my health epiphany about a year and a half ago, and it was a really beautiful opportunity for me to pull back my energy and decide what was best for me and how I was going to spend it. And doing the one-to-ones, you're really helping people, mainly in shorter programs, 3 months, is the best way for me to help people move through that short-term fear, really step into their path. And then, of course, we can continue on, but sometimes that's all you need, is just that hand to hold you when you take that really tough choice and that leap of faith.
Mm. Thank you so much for that. So, this group right here is extraordinary women making extraordinary moves. But we've added the be extraordinary in because I really feel that we're asking people to claim it. Like, be extraordinary, make that choice, show us your extraordinary moves. Like, we're here to help celebrate you, to recognize you. We've said it earlier in other interviews, is we want you to feel that you're seen and heard and celebrated and appreciated and valued. And sometimes that's for the first time in your entire life that that's happened.
Mhm.
And we're providing a space for those things to happen. Is there a message that you have for the women here?
Always trust your heart. Your heart is literally the most intuitive muscle in your body. And that includes your skin, which is highly sensitive. But your heart will never steer you wrong. Just ask your heart. And I'm not talking about the romantic heart. I am talking about the heart muscle, the heart chakra. Ask it. Yes, is this good for me? Does it expand? No, it's not good for me. Do you want to like protect it? Very simple way to step into your power, because your body, your heart will never, ever lie to you.
Mm. Your heart will never lie to you.
Nope.
Now, is that part of this one on one training where you help people actually understand what their heart is telling them?
Yeah, absolutely. And also the visuals around them. What are you seeing? What are you hearing? What are you feeling? What are you knowing? And the verification that it's the truth. Again, it's the heart. It all comes back down to the heart. So you know that what you're seeing and being guided to is the truth. So you have that courage to really step into it, even when your logical brain is saying, ooh, I don't know about that.
Wow. Thank you, Carolyn, so much.
You're
Um,
welcome.
how can people reach you?
So my website is carolynmcgee.com. You can email me at carolyn@carolynmcgee.com. You can reach me in the group. I am one of the moderators and experts there. So yeah, just send me a message, send me a Facebook message, tag me on something if you have a question. I am here for you and for all of us as we really step out and become more visible, become more bright and joyful.
Wow. That is something that, again, I just have to say, these women that are co-creating this with me, yes, I was the visionary and the creator behind this, but without them speaking, stepping in and saying this, and then helping to moderate, helping to just be so visible themselves, so welcoming. Like I've heard that from everybody. Reach out to me. We are extraordinary women doing extraordinary things, but that does not mean that there's a hierarchy or we're putting ourselves on a pedestal. We are exactly the same, and all of us remember what it felt like to start. So no matter where you are in this journey, we want you to be able to really shine your light, and that starts with igniting it within.
Mm-hmm. Yes, beautifully said. Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.